The intro. Once again, I am Dr. Ryan Rogers, President of the PTSD Foundation of America, United States Airborne Paratrooper. Got an amazing organization that I'm part of, and I'm, more than grateful to be a part of. The PTSD Foundation of America, I guess if you want to look at it in a couple of different lenses through different means, we have two kind of main branches. We have our outreach branch, and then we have our residential treatment facility. Our outreach branches are in Southern California, Phoenix, Arizona, Dallas, San Antonio, Houston, Atlanta. Those locations deal with the mild to moderate sufferers of PTSD. So, they're still somewhat functional. They can at least hold a job, but they're struggling. So we do, our bread and butter is done in the peer-to-peer model. There's nothing more powerful than being able to, sit across the table from another combat vet who's struggling and saying, hey, I know where you're at, I know where you've been. Let me help you get to a good place to where you can be highly functioning. And then we move towards our residential treatment facility in Houston, Jersey Village, called Camp Hope. Camp Hope is for the severe sufferers of post-traumatic stress disorder. And there's okay, well, do we want to call it PTS? Do we want to call it PTSI? Do we want to call it PTSD? Honestly, it really doesn't matter. There's an issue that a lot of these, guys face, especially when it's complex trauma. And there's a very unique thing that's very different from this set of conflicts than any of the other conflicts, and that's the amount of exposure to trauma and the repeated, deployments. I have an engineer buddy that deployed 7 times. And as we all know, that will definitely take a toll on your mental well-being as well as your physical body. It's a 6 to 9 month program. It does not cost the veteran or their families one single red cent. We integrate a myriad of different types of modalities into our program. We have clinical interventions now that are going to be on campus. We just recently hired an amazing director of clinical services, Dr. Ron Gellis, who has 30 years of experience in Navy Vet 2, PsyD, bringing in that piece and that aspect. And, we're increasing the level of professionalism that we're doing across the board, and, the touch. And ultimately what Camp Hope will become, it will become a one-stop shop. So meaning that it'll start from the beginning, have medical interventions and everything else needed and provided on the Camp Hope facility. And then we're also going to be doing part of the detox. One of the problems that we have seen with some of the detox facilities is, I'm not kidding you, this is no exaggeration, that we'll have a veteran who is currently in a substance abuse, where we can't treat them at the residential facility because it's a clean facility. They will go to the detox facility with 0 medications and come back in a 30-day time span with 14 meds. Highly unacceptable, highly unethical, but that's the norm. We're going to change that. We are going to be the household name when it comes to veterans' behavioral health and medical care, because we have to. We can't rely on the VA to do it. The proof is in the pudding. So we're going to do it better. We're going to do it cheaper. And we're going to be a lot more effective with what we do. So that's kind of my brief 5-minute intro.
Awesome. Well, amazing stuff that the PTSD Foundation is doing. You guys have any questions that you want to? We got a couple minutes left before we go out to our breakout rooms. But any questions out there from anybody?
Yeah, I got one. It's Kevin here. Ryan, hey, thanks for what you're doing. It's great work. We really, all of us, appreciate what you're doing. 3 questions, but they're pretty simple. One is, how many clients have walked through your doors since you founded? 2, how do you define success right at the end of the treatment? And 3rd, if you could just talk to everybody about how do they book a tour of Camp Hope. I plan on doing that in August, but if you can just kind of cover that. Thanks, man.
For sure. Through the program, in the outreach programs, we'd had over 17,000 veterans and their family members go through. Through the residential treatment facility, we've had 1,600 veterans come through the doors. Currently, right now, we have 80 residents, 80 combat vets residing on Camp Hope. You can, if you want to do a tour of the campus, which I highly recommend everyone doing, especially since we're rebuilding and remodeling it and building it out to accommodate 120 vets. You can go online and book a tour. And then there was one other question, Kevin, and I forgot what the other piece.
Just how do you define success? So if somebody goes through that 6-month program, what's your definition of success?
For us, obviously it's always the tail end piece of it. We don't want them to just be alive, because that's okay. Yeah, okay, great. We've prevented veteran suicide, but really that's just like the absolute end of the iceberg. For us, success is we want them to thrive. And that's, not being over here at the end anymore. What does success look like? It's going to be very different for each individual that we encounter, obviously. But for us, it is, being in a place, in a mental space where you are no longer, a detriment to everyone around you, but you're a success on multiple levels. And that's going to look very different for every single person.
Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, well, I appreciate that. Thank you for the question there, Kevin. To Ryan. Ryan, thank you for all that you guys are doing at the PTSD Foundation, and glad you're a part of the chamber and the veteran ecosystem. So well done. Let us know as business owners how we can kind of support, or if you need some type of business need